On today's video, I'm going to be explaining why the chosen ones go through so much BS in this realm. But first, I will explain what I mean by chosen ones. When I say chosen ones, I'm referring to the people who are conscious. I'm not referring to people who believe that they were chosen by some deity to save certain peoples, right? That's not what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to people who believe that they were chosen by something outside of themselves to save a purpose. I'm not referring to those kind of people. I'm referring to people who are conscious. What you must understand as a conscious being is that you live in a realm that is artificial and that is controlled by something artificial. You do not live in a realm that is controlled by something conscious. You live in a realm that is controlled by something artificial. And anything artificial will do what it was created to do. It doesn't matter if what it was created to do is not in alignment with what is true. That's something that's really important that you must understand. There is no way that you will be able to reason with a robot, right? As a conscious being, there's no way you'll be able to reason with a robot. Let's say a robot was doing something that didn't make sense because it was programmed to do it. You'll not be able to reason with it. I think I've seen, I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to say this on YouTube, but I've seen videos of drones unaliving some soldiers. I'm not even supposed to say where, because, but, some soldiers will try to, give up, will surrender to show the drone that, hey, look, that's it, you got me, you got me, I surrender. But the drone doesn't give a damn. It does what it was programmed to do. So because you live in a realm that is artificial and that is controlled by something that is artificial, and you are a conscious being, there are things that will happen in this realm that won't make sense to you. Because as a conscious being, you actually care about the truth. You actually care about what actually makes sense, you see. But this artificial intelligence that is actually controlling this realm doesn't care about the truth. What it cares about is what it was created to do. That's what it cares about. It was created to keep consciousness from awakening. And it does whatever it can to keep consciousness from awakening. That's its job. And it must make sure that it keeps consciousness from awakening. You are not supposed to awaken as consciousness. You are not supposed to awaken to your true power. You're not supposed to understand what you really are. You are supposed to believe that you are a human. There is something that is outside of yourself that actually created you. You are supposed to believe that you must worship this thing or you believe that you are a product of evolution, everything just happened randomly, like anything to keep you away from realizing what you are, right? This artificial intelligence has to make sure that it keeps you from realizing what you truly are. Like, you're not supposed to realize what you truly are. But because consciousness wants to awaken, because consciousness wants to understand itself, because consciousness can sense that there is more to existence than it's being made to believe. It tries to wake up, right? It tries to awaken. So this artificial intelligence does whatever it can to, make sure that consciousness does not awaken. It does whatever it can, even if that means that it must create experiences that are going to be harmful to consciousness in order to keep consciousness from awakening, right? So it doesn't matter if the experiences are actually harmful to consciousness. The point is to keep consciousness from awakening. It can even create NPCs that it will actually use as an example of how to be in this realm, right? So it will create NPCs, and these NPCs will behave the way that it wants them to behave, and it will reward them for behaving the way that it wants them to behave, so that you will look at these NPCs and be like, oh, so if I behave like that, things are gonna make sense. Like, things are gonna go my way. I'm no longer going to struggle because I'm behaving, the way that those people are behaving. Like, that's one of its tricks, right? Actually, it's one of its most effective tricks, is to actually reward those who are behaving the way that it wants them to behave, right? So that those who are conscious will actually try to behave the way that the NPCs are behaving. That is why I keep on telling people that no matter what you see, no matter how you see other people behaving, if you don't feel like they are behaving in a way that makes sense, don't try to be like them. Don't try to behave like them. If you see some people worshiping some deity and things seem to be going well for them, but when you do your research, you realize that no, it doesn't make sense that they even believe in that deity. Don't believe in that deity. Only focus on what makes sense. As consciousness, to awaken, you need to only focus on what makes sense. People keep on asking me, what is the truth? The truth is what makes sense, all right? The truth is what makes sense. If something seems to not make sense, then you cannot consider it to be true. If someone gives you a story and there's so much BS, then it's not a complete story, right? You can sense that something is off. So I'm saying to you that if something does not make sense, then don't take it seriously. These days I come across a lot of videos on TikTok of people talking about how ridiculous some of these religions are. Because they are waking up, they're realizing that, okay, they've been taught nonsense, and they get angry because they don't understand why some people believe in this religion, because it's obvious that this religion does not make sense. The truth is that you're conscious, you're awakening. Those who are conscious will awaken at some point. You can never be trapped here forever. You will have to awaken at some point, because you are going to become more and more curious. You're not going to be accepting shit as you become more and more conscious. There will be some things that you just won't accept. You'll be like, nah, this is BS. Like, I'm not going to accept this. This is BS to me. Right? You're going to keep on awakening. And this AI is going to make your life hard. Why? Because if it doesn't, it will be much easier for you to awaken. Right? It will be much easier for you to do what you need to do to awaken. So it's going to make life harder for you, so that you will think you are doing something wrong and then try to do what other people are doing. That's a way to control. It's like if you had a livestock and some of these animals would behave in a way that you don't want them to behave, like they were not easy to control. You'd beat them, right? To keep them in line. So that's how this artificial intelligence works. It's like, oh yeah, that one is actually awakening. Let's throw more and more challenges at them so that they will think that they're in the wrong path. If you've watched the Truman Show, you'd realize that when Truman decided that he had enough and he wanted the truth, he wanted to escape that small town that he was trapped in, what happened? He found himself facing too many unnecessary challenges. And whenever he decided that he wanted to escape that little town that he was put in, he will encounter crazy challenges that are not even normal. Like, that's not a normal challenge to encounter. Like, that shouldn't happen at all. When you try to drive away, some cars will block him and be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go back. When he tries to go back, another car will block him, and the people who would block him would like come up with some dumb excuse, and he'll try his best to escape, and then you find that now there's many people in the street. They don't even know why they're in the street. The next thing, hey, now the road is, there's a problem, there's fire, you're not supposed to go beyond because there's fire, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, too many excuses. Even when he decided, like in the end, when he decided that he was escaping using a boat, it will rain like crazy, so that you will be like, you know what, let me go back. You will encounter some big waves, so that I'll be like, you know what, like, I'm gonna die, so I need to go back, so that, that's how it works in this matrix, all right? And you're supposed to know that that's how it works. Because if you don't know that, when you go through some challenges, you're going to start to squeal. You're going to be like, okay, you know, the reason why these things are happening is because I'm doing something wrong. The reason why these things are happening is because there's something wrong with me. You know, it's because I'm not like everyone else. I'm not behaving, you know, like everyone. No. It's because you're not an NPC. You're a conscious being. Conscious beings should behave the way that you behave. So that's what I mean by the chosen ones. I'm talking about people who are actually conscious. I'm not talking about, you know, people who behave like robots. Anything artificial will never really care about the truth. It will only care about what it was programmed to do. That will be its truth. Right? It will care about what it was programmed to do, and that will be its truth. Like, it will not be able to see beyond what it was programmed to see. But as consciousness, because you are capable of seeing beyond what you are being allowed to see, you are actually able to expand your awareness on your own. That is why some people are able to astral project, right? That's why some people, you know, are able to you know, meet some deities when they're having like psychedelic experiences. That's why some people are able to see what's gonna happen in the future. It's possible, you know. It doesn't usually happen. Like, it also, like, it happened. I think each and every person, sometimes they're able to see what's gonna happen in the future. It's happened to me, you know, a few times before, that I'm actually able to see what's gonna happen in the future. So it does happen because you're not a robot. Right, so consciousness can always find a way to, you know, operate beyond what it was actually allowed to operate. Right. If it's supposed to be limited in some ways, it can find a way to expand beyond, you know, the limitations that was set for it. Like, it's not easy to trap consciousness. And the truth is that you don't really trap consciousness. Like, consciousness itself can never really be trapped. What can be done is make consciousness believe that it is trapped, right? That is why, since you were little, you have been, you know, made to seem insignificant. Right? You must follow rules, you must do this, you must do that, otherwise your life is gonna suck. Believe in this deity, otherwise your life is gonna suck. You're gonna go to hell. You're just a human. You know, there's this entity that is more powerful than you, and that's gonna send you through it. That's why you're being told all this nonsense to keep you trapped. Because it's you believing that you're trapped, that, like, the belief itself, that actually keeps you trapped, right? So consciousness actually traps itself by believing that it is less than what it is. You see? That's it. So you believe that you're less than what you are. And it's that belief that actually keeps you trapped. And in this realm, because it's an artificial world that was created to trap you, a lot of things will happen to convince you that you are insignificant. Even though that is not true at all. The chosen ones are the people who are actually conscious. When you're communicating with these people and you are saying something truthful, they are able to sense that what you're saying is true, right? They're going to say something ignorant after you've told them something that actually makes sense. You tell them the truth and they don't get it. sometimes chosen ones actually find themselves wasting their energy trying to explain things to people who actually belong to this matrix, the people who actually were created by the matrix, who could never understand what they're saying, who were actually programmed to keep them in line. So you find yourself explaining why you must be free to someone who was actually created to make you a prisoner. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a rabbit explaining to a lion why it shouldn't unalive it? It was programmed to unalive it. Do you think it's gonna care? But like, okay, I understand your pain. You know, I understand that you were going to, you know, you got offsprings and they depend on you. You know, no, it's not gonna understand that. That's not gonna make sense to it. It'll even laugh. Like, so you think that's gonna work? That is why some people, when you're communicating with them, they just don't understand you, even if you're making a lot of sense. You'll be surprised, like, what? I'm making so much sense and this person really does not understand me. Like, what I'm saying makes complete sense. How is it that they are unable to understand me? This makes no sense. They're supposed to understand me because what I'm saying makes complete sense, but they don't. The answer is very simple. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to understand you. There are people who are behaving in ways that are harmful, right, to others. Explain to them that, but then you shouldn't be behaving that way. But like, well, this is how it works. This is how nature meant for things to work. Blah, blah. Listen, they will never understand. You shouldn't even give your energy to these people. Like, you lose a lot of energy explaining yourself to these people. They can't understand you. Like, it doesn't matter how hard you explain it. Like, you could bring the smartest people in the world to explain what you're trying to explain to them, and they will never understand you because they're not supposed to. This AI that is controlling this, it's not supposed to understand you as consciousness. It's not programmed to. So it doesn't matter what you say to it. It will do whatever it can to trap you, to make you believe that you're trapped, to make you believe that you're powerless, to make you think that you must give your power to it. So you go through a lot as a conscious being in this realm, as a conscious being in an artificial world controlled by artificial intelligence, right? You go through a lot in an artificial world controlled by artificial intelligence. Sometimes, as like, as a person who likes to post videos regularly, I find myself not using certain words. Why? Because I know that if I use these words, because social medias, platforms actually use AI sometimes to determine if what's posted on their platform is allowed. It doesn't go against their guidelines. If you use some words, this AI that they use, because it's not really, like, it's not conscious, it might actually, detect these words that you've used and be like, okay, this goes against our guidelines, and then your post gets removed, right? On Facebook, on TikTok, your video is removed. On Instagram, your video is removed. On Facebook, your post is removed. You find that it's not actual people who looked at the post and be like, okay, this post is actually harmful. Artificial intelligence is doing what it is programmed to do, but it's not conscious. There's this video that I've had to remove from TikTok. I mean, I didn't remove it. It was removed from TikTok because I was giving this example. I was like, if you created a robot and told it to analyze some people, like certain group of people, this robot will not question whether that is right or wrong. Like, it will not question that. It will just do it. It will not realize that that is wrong. And I received a notification that video was removed. The video was removed because, well, it's hate speech. It's like, what? It's not hate speech, but it's just, it was programmed to just detect some words, right? Like, you can never reason with it. You can never, like, tell that AI, be like, no, it's not hate speech, and then explain why it's not hate speech. It's not capable of understanding that. You see? So that is why some people just won't get you. Like, they're not capable of understanding you. They're not able to operate at the level that consciousness is operating on. Because they're not conscious. I mean, if you were playing a video game and you came across some bots in that video game, I mean, think about it. You came across this, like, NPCs. What do you really think you would have, like, a really, like, a satisfying conversation with them? They've only been programmed to say certain words. If you say something that they don't understand, they'll just respond, the way that they've been programmed to respond. If they don't understand you, they might actually pretend as if they understand you, but you'll see that you are actually talking to a bot. You're talking to an NPC. So that is why some people just won't understand you no matter what you say. They can't. Shouldn't even be mad, when people do not understand you. You should just realize that you are operating at a very high level of awareness. There are people who are conscious but who operate like NPCs, like they still have a lot of work to do, but they are the people who are already too conscious. But those who are conscious, who still operate like NPCs, when you're communicating with them, you can see that they do want to awaken. Like, they are confused, but they do want to awaken. Like, because, like, I keep on telling you, that consciousness wants to awaken. It doesn't want to be stuck. But artificial intelligence has been programmed to actually keep us stuck. And it keeps on finding new ways to keep us stuck. Soon there will be simulations that will be created. That's where we're going. There will be simulations that will be created, and people will choose to live in these simulations. And that will actually make it harder for them to awaken. So your job as consciousness now is to work on your awakening. It's not to buy into the narratives that you're being given. It's not to be tempted, right? New simulations are created. You must not be tempted. Like, hey, I wanna be part of that simulation. It's a simulation where you can fly. You can fly in that simulation. You can change. You can shape shift. You can do this. You can like, nah, dude. Don't be tempted. Resist all temptation. All right. You do live in an artificial world, and the more conscious we become, the more we realize that. Like when you look at what is actually possible in this room, you realize that it's not real. If it was real, the things that are possible now, the things that make us go like, what? How do they do that? How is that even possible? These things wouldn't be possible in the real world. In this simulation, nothing is impossible, right? Like anything is possible in this artificial world. The matrix can do whatever it wants. What's difficult for this matrix, for this AI, is to keep consciousness trapped. But other than that, it can do anything. It can show consciousness whatever it wants to show it. It can make consciousness, not necessarily believe certain things, but it can attempt to make consciousness believe certain things. It can even get to a point where, like if you believe in a certain religion, you are also shown the gods that you've been praying to. Like this AI can do that very easily, and you end up believing more that these entities actually exist, even if they are not real. What scares me about the major religions that people believe in is that people will find themselves in a simulation that they will believe is heaven, and they will not realize that they're in a simulation. Like, that's what scares me, because in this realm, and when you look at how things work, you actually realize that we are being trained to believe in something outside of ourselves. Why are we being trained to believe in something outside of ourselves? Right? No evidence, nothing. It's not like this this thing that we're supposed to believe in that is outside of ourselves showed up to us, and we actually had a conversation with it to see if it knows what it's doing. No, you're just supposed to believe in it. It doesn't matter what it does. It can do the most idiotic shit. That doesn't matter. You should believe in it, and that should tell you something. Actually, maybe it knows how intelligent you are as consciousness. So it's like, if I showed up and actually started having a conversation with consciousness, I'm not going to win, because I'm going to be asked questions that I cannot answer. So it has to hide and then send, some people to actually like spread its message, and they defend it and be like, well, don't lean on your own understanding. Like, what? You're being told that you must not lean on your own understanding as consciousness, as this powerful being that you are, as the chosen one. You must not lean on your own understanding. I mean, don't you see that it's all a lie? You must lean on your own understanding. It is your understanding. Why should you not lean on your own understanding if it's your understanding? Seriously, like, think about it. Like I keep on telling you, that if it doesn't make sense, it isn't real. Realize that if it doesn't make sense, it isn't true. That's what you must realize. Consciousness yearns for truth, right? It doesn't want to be confused anymore. It wants truth. It wants to awaken. It wants to know. It wants to understand. It doesn't want to be trapped in a false reality forever. It wants to understand itself. It wants to realize its full potential. It wants to know what it's capable of. It wants answers. That's what you must realize. In this realm, you're supposed to give your power away. Your teachers, when you were young, they used to tell you to give your power away, and actually rewarded you for giving your power away. Like, hey, that student is so quiet. That student doesn't complain. That student, doesn't make noise. I mean, it is good to not make noise and listen, but you must also realize that we were also being trained to be obedient no matter what. Because even as adults, we don't make noise even when something is wrong. Like, I'm just going to keep quiet. We don't complain even when something is wrong. I'm just going to keep quiet. We only complain when the AI wants us to complain, to cause drama. But yeah, these people have been angry for too long. Let's now allow them to complain. Let's create a situation where they'll actually complain, and maybe as a way to keep some people distracted. Whatever, like, you are being played. Period. You are being played. Right? It's not easy to realize that, but you are being played. Like, things that are happening in this world are not happening randomly. Yes, this AI doesn't always win. Things doesn't always go its way. But everything that happens is what it's actually, like, it's a result of it trying to do something. It's a result of it trying to accomplish something. But things can go sideways. Sometimes, like when it's dealing with highly conscious individuals, it can try to do certain things and then things go a certain way. That does happen. I do think that you've actually, like, seen this happen in your own lives. You feel these negative emotions and you feel like doing something that is bad, but then you fight these negative emotions and you don't do. But I don't mean like something evil, but I mean just something that like you will regret. Like, after not doing it, you're like, you know what, I was gonna regret doing that. And then things start going too well for you. You're like, what? The AI was supposed to make you do something bad, and it failed. And it lost a lot of energy trying to make you do something. That's why you must always do what makes the most sense. In whatever situation you find yourself in, do what makes the most sense. Once you stop doing things that actually make sense, you actually allow this AI to win. Like, you give your power to this AI. And this AI is actually, going to be able to make you do what it wants you to do. Like, if you find yourself in a situation where you are too angry, you can do something that you don't want to do because you're powerless, right? When you're angry, you release a lot of energy. So you're giving this AI a lot of energy, and this AI is able to make you do what it wants you to do because you've given it a lot of energy. So you must be so damn grounded that you don't give it too much energy. And if you do give it too much energy, do nothing. Like, no matter how you feel, just chill and do nothing until you regain some energy to fight back, and you realize that you were about to do something very stupid. You gotta know what you're dealing with. A lot of people are waking up. We're waking up because this AI has no choice but to expose itself somehow, as it gives us new technology, as it prepares us for the next simulation. It has to expose itself. It has to show us what is possible. So we are starting to be like, you know what? Something is off. Something is off. Like, this reality is not what we thought it was. Like people are starting to wake up. People are starting to open their eyes. So be grounded. Don't allow this artificial intelligence to control you. It will do things to control you. It will try to make you angry. It will try to make people that you love go against you sometimes. It will try to make people that you love to not agree with you or understand you sometimes. It will send NPCs into your life to keep you distracted, to make you, feel powerless sometimes. That's why you gotta keep on, doing what makes the most sense. You gotta keep on thinking rationally. Like, think rationally. In any situation that you find yourself in, think rationally. Never allow this AI to make you think in ways that will, keep you down. No, think rationally. What makes the most sense? What is most likely to be the truth in this situation? Yes, I feel like I'm not good enough. Yes, I feel like someone, this person is bad person. But what is most likely to be the truth? Like, think. Like, don't allow your feelings to control you. It's your feelings that will F you up, because your feelings are part of this, right? Your ego is part of this. That's what you must understand. This body is part of this. I'm having a dream that I'm Benedictine the truth. This is part of this part of this thing. So my feelings shouldn't control me, right? My feelings shouldn't make me like, okay, this is what I must do because I feel this way. I feel angry. This is what I must do. I must do only the things that actually make sense, no matter how angry I am. No matter how I feel, I must do what makes the most sense. That's how you beat the matrix. Yes, you will suffer. That's true. Yes, some people who care about you are gonna leave. That is true. Yes, things ain't gonna make sense. That is true. Sometimes like things are just not gonna make sense. That is true. Yes, sometimes you're gonna feel like you're not good enough because the matrix will try to make you feel like you're not good enough and you must depend on it. That is true, but don't buy it. Your consciousness having an experience. You are much more powerful than you could ever imagine. The problem is that this matrix has managed to make you believe that you are this human that is like having this, experience. I mean, yes, you are having this experience, but then this is not what you really are, right? You just believe that you are what this AI tried to make you believe that you are. This would be like playing a video game. I mean, when people like who create video games, what they want is for the people who will play these video games to be addicted to this video game, so that they don't really care about what's happening in what they call the real world. They must now start to think that what is happening in the game, that's real. Like, they must treat what is happening in the game as something that is real. They must no longer care about what's happening in their own lives. Like, hey, what's happening like in their families and all that. They must just focus on the game. Like, hey man, I ain't got time for what's happening in my family. I'm just gonna focus on this game that I'm part of, And then they focus on this game that they're a part of. That's what you gotta realize, man. This AI wants you invested. Once you start to pull away, once it realizes that okay, this one is waking up, it has to find ways to keep you invested, even if it means that it must make you suffer. It will start taking low blows if it realizes that its tricks are no longer working. So you gotta keep your head up no matter what. It will start breaking some rules. You start experiencing things that don't make sense. Just laugh. Realize that it's this AI that's trying to like keep you from awakening. You have sinned against this AI and it knows that. And it's afraid that if it doesn't punish you for sinning, you're gonna wake up. That is why some of y'all, when you talk to me privately, you tell me that there's something wrong with me, I have this. Like, chill. There's nothing wrong with you, all right? You were different, and this AI had to punish you so that you obey, right? So that you play by its rules. You were operating outside the system, and it realized that you were going to be too damn powerful if it allows you to keep on operating outside the system. So it has to discipline you. And because it was disciplining you, you were hurting. Like, you felt a lot of pain because it was disciplining you. And then you started to think, there's something wrong with you. That's why you feel the way that you feel. Well, the truth is that you were just operating outside the system, and this artificial intelligence was somehow intimidated. You gotta understand yourself, all right? You gotta understand what you really are. You know, as you become more and more conscious, you gotta understand what you really are. I've seen a lot of people get played by this AI. And they started to lose confidence in themselves. Start to think the reason why things are not going their way is because they are doing something wrong. And you ask them, okay, what do you think you did wrong? And they tell you, and you're like, what? Actually, you did things right. You actually did things the way you were supposed to do things. There are people who are doing things wrong, who are getting positive results. Ask yourself why. Like, you actually did things that no one should blame you. Like, no one should actually blame you for doing these things that you did. Like, you did things right. But now you feel like you did things wrong because, you know, this matrix actually punished you for, you know, doing things the way that you did things. One thing that I realized about humans is that when they get punished for doing something, they don't want to do it anymore. Right? If you do something right and you are punished, you don't want to do it anymore. You wanna do what gives you positive results. You can treat people in your life well and get negative results, and you're like, you know what? F it. I'm not going to treat anyone well. You're allowing the matrix to win. What you should do instead is find the right people. Because if you want to treat people badly, you are also introducing evil into your own soul, right? It's like you kind of like allowing yourself to be corrupted. So what you must realize is that the people that you have treated well don't deserve that. You don't treat them badly. You're like, okay, you don't belong in my world. You don't belong in this small world that I'm a part of, that I'm trying to create. You know, I'm trying to create this bubble, and I'm trying to take certain people with me. Like, I'm trying to create this bubble, and we're supposed to go up, and I'm supposed to take certain people with me, and you just don't belong inside this bubble, because you don't appreciate it when a person treats you right. And I'm not going to treat you wrong just to get a good reaction from you, because I will also be introducing evil into my own soul. You see? So what you do is you find people who want to be treated right, who are conscious enough to appreciate being treated right, people who are going to see you. You know, people who are going to see where you're coming from, people who are going to understand you, and you treat them right. Simple as that. Because, you know, this matrix can use, you know, the people that it can control, like the NPCs. Like, it's not easy for it to use those who are conscious. And even if it does sometimes use these people that are conscious, they actually learn. You know, they actually learn. Like, that's why you must be real. If someone treats you in a way that you don't want to be treated, be real with them. If they are wrong, they might actually find ways to actually, like, right their wrong, right? Which is something that is important. And that's what I remember I was telling y'all in an interview that I did with Mark. I was saying that find ways to right or wrong. So, like, if you treat someone badly and you see that, okay, I might have fucked up, find ways to make up for the wrongs that you did, right? Like, okay, what I did was wrong, here's what I must do. Because you will make mistakes. You're in the matrix. You're confused too. So of course you're gonna make mistakes. It's not easy to be perfect in this matrix. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's not easy to be perfect in this matrix. Like, making mistakes is just, it's part of the, like, it's, you know, as a human, you're gonna make mistakes to get it right. In fact, you must make mistakes first to get it right. That's how it works. So you mustn't feel too guilty when you make mistakes, you know, because what can you do? Your consciousness trying to wake up. Your consciousness trying to awaken, trying to ascend, trying to operate at high levels of consciousness. So there will be mistakes that you make, but you mustn't allow these mistakes to hold you back. No, when I make mistakes, I try my best to make up for these mistakes without people even realizing that I'm making up for my mistakes. Like, if I'm going to do something wrong to someone today, I might do something very great for them next week and try to make them feel way better than they felt the whole month. Like, okay, I made you feel bad, so now I must make you feel very, very good. I must make you feel like you're good enough if I made you feel like you're not good enough. I must make you feel like you deserve to be treated right if I made you feel like you don't deserve to be treated right. And that is why when people treat you badly, you must be able to tell them, or to show them somehow that they've treated you badly, so that they will also learn. You know, you not telling people that are not treating you the way that you want to be treated is not you being It's not like you might think that that makes you a good person, but it doesn't. They must learn. They must know that they did something wrong, so that they will improve. We need people to improve so that they will vibrate much higher. Because this AI wants us to vibrate low, so that we will keep on doing the BS that it wants us to do, so that it will keep on torturing us. You see the problem? So you need to be as real as possible. You need to be as honest as possible, so that you vibrate at a high frequency. You'd vibrate at a frequency where this AI is not really able to manipulate you. That is why some of y'all, in any situation, you're able to see truth, and you are surprised why some people are not able to see the truth. You're like, what? How did you fall for that? Because I was able to see that, you know, you were being manipulated, but you still fell for it. How? You know, fake prophets come into Africa. I mean, they don't even come to Africa. They are from Africa. They come to South Africa, and find people who are going on pension, right? Take the millions that they get. But like, yeah, you invest this and this is what you're gonna get. Give this amount to God and God's gonna bless you, and then they leave these people broke. And they complain and they cry. You're like, damn. You are operating at a very high level of consciousness. You are able to see BS for what it is. The battery is low, so thank you all guys.